gather around. It's not every day I do a video like this where I talk about an era wasted. Probably thinking, am I going to be talking about Brendan Gallagher? Am I going to be talking about Samuel Montembeau? Patrick Laine? I'm not going to be talking about a Montreal player. Steve Dangle does one of those to Toronto players and Toronto staff. For me, I'm going to be doing this on wrestling. I see a lot of things on the internet about the Paul Triple H Leveque era that everyone thinks we're in. To be quite honest, we're no longer in that era. We're in the Netflix/TKO era. It could have still been the Paul Leveque era, but where did it go wrong? Where was it right, and then when did it go wrong? Find out all of that in this video titled Paul Leveque, an Era Wasted. First start off by saying when the Paul Leveque era took place. When did it take effect? It took effect the Raw after WrestleMania 39. I'll say Raw after the Raw after Mania 39. And it ended December 31st, 2024. When the WWE Network shut down and when they went to Netflix, that's when I say it ended. But if I'm gonna say anything, I'll say it ended the Raw after WrestleMania 41. It lasted roughly 1.5 years, maybe 2. A lot of things that Triple H did right. We saw him right some wrongs that Vince McMahon did. One of those things, he brought back the World Heavyweight Champions. June of 2023, did a champion. And Roman Reigns was nowhere to be found. Again, part-time contract. So Triple H brought back the World Heavyweight Championship and issued a tournament. The winner of the two finalists will then face off at Night of Champions for the World Heavyweight title. And the two finalists were Seth freaking Rollins versus AJ Styles. Rollins was the inaugural champion. Saw him bring out the Women's World Championship. So, once again, both Raw and SmackDown have their own women's title and their own men's world title. The women's world went to Rhea Ripley, as the WWE women's title went to Asuka, as Asuka was the champion around that time. So was Rhea. So they got rid of the Raw and SmackDown women's titles, went with the WWE women's title and women's world title. We saw Triple H right the biggest wrong of nearly a decade ago by bringing back CM Punk. Because around that time, CM Punk was fired by AEW. That's a story for another day. But Triple H brought him back. Nobody thought he was coming back. No one thought he was going to return. After the production graphic played during Survivor Series, you heard the famous intro. And he came back. Took 2024 by storm. Now we go to 2024. Once again, righted some wrongs. Brought in Braun Strowman, I believe, 2022, 2023. Brought back Bray Wyatt at the end of 2022. Unfortunately, he passed away in 2023. Brought back the Roman numerals and the numbering for WrestleMania after WrestleMania 39, which Vince took away. The fans were loving it. WWE has seen its highest viewership in years. Well, I wouldn't say years. I mean, the Attitude Era was big. But compared to 2019, 2020, this was WWE's peak. Was 2024. And I think what made them win against AEW was WrestleMania 40. The events leading up to it. Cody Rhodes winning his second Royal Rumble in a row. Drew McIntyre winning not only the one Money in the Bank, but he also won the Elimination Chamber. We saw another cash in at WrestleMania. Roman challenging Rock, but then the fans were crying about it, and we got Cody versus Roman in a Bloodline Rules match after Cody and Seth Rollins lost to Rock and Roman at night one at WrestleMania. Then we had the Avengers Endgame style main event in WrestleMania 40. Cody Rhodes finally wins the undisputed WWE Championship. We see Triple H start doing a collaboration with TNA, which, thanks to him, we saw guys like Joe Hendry come in. Santino Marella made main appearances. Matt Cardona, who's now signed with WWE. The Motor City Machine Guns. Dolph Ziggler came back once, and we saw the return of the Hardy Boys. And that was all because of Triple H. I'm not going to say it's because of TKO. We saw the best Hell in a Cell match of the 2020s. We saw Triple H bring back Saturday night's main event. And I mentioned the Hell in a Cell match. He brought back Bad Blood. And they brought in a 5-star classic Hell in a Cell match between Drew McIntyre and CM Punk, which was feud of the year, I believe, for WWE, that is. We saw the return of King and Queen of the Ring. It was supposed to be King of the Ring, but they made it King and Queen of the Ring, but we saw that back. Now, we go to 2025, and let's just say this is where shit hit the fan. As Triple H would no longer be head of creative going forward. It would now be Mark Sharpio from TKO and the other guy from TKO. I forget his name. But all the guys that Triple H brought in, and he's the one that signed Penta from AEW, and even Rey Fenix. Granted, Rey Fenix hasn't been used properly. He's now down in AAA, which that's another company that Triple H bought. And there was some scrutiny there with Tony Khan and Rey Fenix. I'm not going to get into that. But we saw the debut of Penta, and he was beloved. Still is one of the most, still beloved. And now, we're here. 2025. The first Raw of Netflix went good. It was good. Granted, they had Hulk Hogan come out and he was booed out of the damn building. And that was all Triple H's idea. Triple H knew he was going to get booed. He didn't care. He wanted them to get booed. So he did. He got booed out of the building. Hulk Hogan, that is. Then they'll milk the crap out of his passing during SummerSlam. We saw Travis Scott be involved with John Cena. John Cena turned heel under Triple H, which would have been great if Travis Scott wasn't present. And TKO ruined that by adding Travis Scott. Stop me if you heard that one before. They added Travis Scott. They aligned him with The Rock. And then we get to the main event of WrestleMania 41, Night 2. John Cena says he's going to ruin wrestling. He's the heel. And throughout the match was good until Travis Scott comes out, rubbing the hardcore title, which he never defended. This should have been a real belt. Rubbing it like he was Golem with his precious. And Cody Rhodes loses. Wins King of the Ring. Gets the title back at SummerSlam. We see the return of Brock Lesnar. But TKO ruined that entire heel turn. That entire heel turn, that entire retirement tour was ruined because of TKO. A lot of the people that Triple H brought in, TKO released. Triple H brought back Aleister Black, brought back Rusev, and brought back Carlito. Forgot to mention that in 2023. Brought back Carlito. Where are they? Released, thanks to TKO. Aleister Black was released earlier this year. And the reason because of that was because one of the guys behind TKO doesn't like their characters. That's why the Wyatt Six are gone. That's why Aleister Black and Zelina Vega are gone. Braun Strowman was released due to injury, but Triple H made it better by giving him his own show on WWE. A part of WWE's YouTube channel. Which, again, great. The Wyatt Six debuted in 2024, and were released earlier this year. Now that we've got what Triple H did out of the way, like again, as I mentioned, you saw the return of Bad Blood. You saw the return of Saturday Night's Main Event. We saw the women's division gain a women's world title, a women's United States title, and a women's Intercontinental title under Triple H. We saw the return of both the World Tag Team Championship and the WWE Tag Team Championship. No one more undisputed tag titles. We saw banger after banger after banger matches. That was under Triple H. As Triple H said in one commercial under WWE Network, in case you're living under a rock, the WWE is on fire right now. And it was. He was absolutely right. In my opinion, he was absolutely right. And now, because of TKO, 2025 and this year, we're halfway through this year, and WWE is at its worst. 2025 was bad. 2026 is far worse. Under TKO, we've seen releases. As I mentioned, Aleister Black released because of TKO. Zelina Vega, Dakota Kai, Kairi Sane, who was in a storyline with Asuka and Io Sky. And Kairi Sane's the one that gets released this year. TKO asked WWE wrestlers to take a pay cut just so the TKO executives can gain raises. Triple H was not one of them. Nick Khan was, though. We haven't seen The Undertaker come back with his dead man persona because TKO was like, ew, don't like scary guy. And the WWE has, for a year and a half now, has yet to see a Hell in a Cell match. The last Hell in a Cell match to take place was Bad Blood 2024. That was in October. Last year, no Hell in a Cell match. This year, so far, no Hell in a Cell match. WrestleMania 42 was rushed, and by the way, TKO, The Rock came out and said that WrestleMania 42, which was supposed to be this year, by the way, it just passed, was supposed to be held in New Orleans, Louisiana, And TKO was like, no, we're going back to Vegas. And I thought, okay, they're going to redeem themselves from last year. No, it was even worse. Night 1 was a complete disaster. Night 2 was a little better. But the matches were rushed. No backstage segments. Neither tag team title was defended that night. Both nights. And as you already can see, Night 1's main event had a celebrity appearance. Because TKO just had to add Pat McAfee. Which Pat McAfee, by the way, I mentioned it in my predictions video. His commentary is funny. They should have had him come out as a commentator. But he was added to that match. A match that didn't need Pat McAfee. Randy Orton versus Cody Rhodes. Which is basically a copy-paste main event like WrestleMania 41. Fortunately enough, the winner was different. But, as I said, we're no longer in the Paul, Triple H, Leveque era. We're not. Far from it. And it's safe to say that WWE is continuing to drop while AEW is in its best year. 2025 and 26, right as of right now, has been AEW's best year. Which is shocking because AEW has had some bad years. Very bad years. 2022, 23, and 24 were all bad. Not on a wrestling standpoint, more of a backstage standpoint. But, yeah, there we have it. I think I covered a lot of the key points from the Paul Triple H Leveque era, and it sucks. You know, WrestleMania 40 went down as one of the best WrestleManias since WrestleMania X7, but not better than WrestleMania X7. A lot better than WrestleMania 30. But the constant ads, the constant commercials, the constant "we'll be right back," especially during a fucking pay-per-view, no less. Sorry, premium live event. Matches being short. Apparently, TKO is using AI to make storylines, which that's not creative at all. That's lazy. And you know that's not Triple H. Just look at the storylines that Triple H has made versus what TKO is doing. I didn't want to talk much about TKO, but here we are. The New Day is gone because TKO has asked them to take a pay cut. They're gone. There's been rumors of Triple H being fired, which it's not even his fault. If anything, WWE needs to split away from TKO and go back to doing their own thing. I'm going to have another video about why the WWE on Netflix sucks. After an entire year of being on there. But until then, we're in dark times when it comes to WWE. But that is it for this one. Thank you guys so much for watching. click like if you like this video. Click subscribe if you really like it. Tell all your wrestling friends. Thank God we got TNA. Thank God we have AEW. Thank God we have AAA. And what a missed opportunity to have an amazing era that was completely wasted.